The storm that night did not whisper. It roared like a door of destiny no one could ignore. Lightning tore the sky apart, as if the heavens themselves wished to report a secret they could not hold anymore. Somewhere across the sleepless city lights, the name Menglong drifted again through the night like a ghostly folklore. Months had passed since the world first heard the story of the fall that left millions unsure, yet the whispers had never truly faded from the shore. Then, on a night as eerie as before, a message appeared online that shook hearts to their core. A psychic, someone unknown to the crowd but fearless in lore, claimed that the silence surrounding Menglong would soon explode once more. According to this strange figure who claimed visions impossible to ignore, the year 2026 would unlock a hidden door. Files long buried, voices once silent, and truths once chained might rise like thunder from the floor. At first, many laughed as they scrolled past the post in the early hours of 4. The internet was full of theories already. Why believe one more? But as the hours unfolded and screenshots began to pour, curiosity spread like wildfire across every digital corridor. Fans who once mourned quietly suddenly leaned forward once more, wondering if destiny had finally begun to restore what history tried to obscure. The psychic's words were oddly specific, and that detail made the story harder to ignore. The truth, the message said, will surface through something small, something forgotten before. Not a witness shouting loudly, not a confession in the center of the floor, but a quiet piece of evidence hiding in plain sight like a key beside a door. According to the vision, when spring of 2026 arrived, a ripple would begin that no authority could ignore. Across forums and late-night chats, the prophecy spread from shore to shore. Some fans called it fantasy, others called it folklore, but many who remembered Menglong felt a shiver they could not ignore. After all, his story had always carried mysteries impossible to fully explore. Questions had lingered like shadows against a wall that truth could not restore. In a quiet apartment in Beijing, a devoted fan stared at the prophecy glowing from the screen once more. She remembered the day the tragic news first struck like thunder at her door. She remembered how disbelief had filled every corner of her heart's core. For her, and for millions more, Menglong had not just been an actor adored, he had been a rising star whose charm audiences adored. She remembered the dramas that once made living rooms roar with laughter and emotional uproar. She remembered how his gentle smile carried warmth people could not ignore. Even those who barely followed celebrity stories knew his presence lit the screen like a meteor that soared. That was why the tragedy felt heavier than anything before. But the psychic's warning carried something different, something darker at its core. The message claimed that powerful figures feared what might surface in 2026 more than any rumor before. According to the vision, there were secrets buried deeper than the public could explore. Secrets tied to money, pressure, and a world behind the glamour few truly explore. Night after night, the prophecy traveled farther across the digital floor. Videos appeared analyzing every line, every symbol, every metaphor the psychic had swore. Some creators claimed the prediction matched hidden details discovered before. Others argued it was coincidence wrapped in mystery and nothing more. Still, the timing felt strange, like a tide preparing for war. A journalist in Hong Kong decided to explore the prophecy's core. At first, he treated it as entertainment, a story meant to attract viewers wanting folklore. But the deeper he searched through old interviews, articles, and records from before, the more he felt the quiet sensation that something unseen might indeed exist at the core. He discovered reports of sudden silence surrounding projects Menglong had prepared before. He found whispers of meetings that ended abruptly, conversations no one wished to restore. None of it proved anything, yet the pattern felt like puzzle pieces scattered across a floor. Then something unexpected happened that made the internet roar. An old clip resurfaced online from an interview years before. In it, Menglong laughed warmly while answering a question from the host across the studio floor. But toward the end of the clip, the mood shifted ever so slightly, just enough for viewers to explore. He paused, smiled again, and said something that fans suddenly replayed more and more. Sometimes, he said softly, Truth arrives later than expected, but it always arrives at the door. The line had once seemed poetic, nothing more. Yet after the psychic's prophecy began to soar, fans saw the moment differently than before. Comment sections exploded with theories, emotions, and speculation pouring like rain against a shore. Could he have sensed something no one knew before? Could the story behind his life contain chapters never shown before? The prophecy gained power not because it promised answers, but because it promised a door. Weeks turned into months, and the internet refused to ignore the lore. Investigators, journalists, and fans began re-examining every detail once more. Every timeline was studied like a map explorers had overlooked before. Every conversation, every appearance, every rumor became a clue people could explore. Then, during a cold evening early in the year the psychic had foretold before, something small happened that many might have ignored before. A former studio employee, someone who had worked quietly behind the scenes before, posted a simple message online that fans could not ignore. The message contained no accusations, no dramatic uproar. Just a photograph of an old notebook resting upon a wooden floor. The caption beneath it read, "Some stories were never meant to stay closed behind the door." The image spread faster than wildfire across the digital shore. Some believed the notebook belonged to Menglong from a project prepared before. Others believed it contained personal notes from meetings that happened before the tragedy everyone still explored. The former employee did not explain more. But that silence only made curiosity roar. Media outlets began investigating once more. Analysts debated what the notebook might restore. Fans examined the handwriting line by line as if reading a prophecy from folklore. And somewhere in the swirling chaos of speculation and lore, people remembered the psychic's strange warning from before, that the truth would return through something small, something forgotten on the floor. Whether coincidence or fate, the moment felt impossible to ignore. Suddenly, the prophecy no longer seemed like fantasy people could ignore. It felt like a story slowly unfolding across time's shore. For many, the mystery surrounding Menglong had always been painful to explore. Grief had mixed with unanswered questions that lingered like shadows on the floor. Yet the possibility that truth might one day surface again brought a strange feeling people could not ignore, hope mixed with fear at its core. Because if the prophecy proved true, and the case reopened once more, the world might discover answers no one had prepared for before. Answers about pressure hidden behind fame's shining decor. Answers about choices made in rooms far from the public floor. Answers about a young star whose life had once soared.